guys, Kathy Rankin with BrickHouse.tv. We had another great concert this week at BLK Live. We had Zebra in the house, and I gotta tell you what, I have never seen this band perform live before. I had heard about it. I heard once you go to a show and see them live, you're a fan for life, and now I see why. If you go read my review on our page, you'll understand what I'm talking about. But I gotta tell you, we sat down with lead singer and lead guitarist Randy Jackson. Now, he is oozing talent. And when you hear him, he has such a Zeppelin quality, not only to his vocals, but to his guitar playing as well. And to have three guys in a band creating the music that these guys do on stage is really incredible. So we talked to Randy about that, how they ended up sticking with just three guys, and it actually led us to a really interesting story that I don't know if a lot of the fans know of how they actually got the name Zebra. It's kind of a fun story. And he talked about a lot of that with us and a lot more, so go take a look at what he said. I'm sitting with Randy Jackson of Zebra. And Randy, I did my best attempt to like channel an actual zebra with my outfit. I don't know if you noticed.
You're almost there. You're one step of the way.
I'm missing a few stripes, but you know, I got one. So I was listening to you in soundcheck, and first of all, how do you keep those vocals? You have some of the highest vocals I've ever heard, and I love it. But how do you keep your voice in shape after 40 years? You guys are celebrating your 40-year anniversary.
Yeah.
How is it to go on the road and still try to do those original songs?
Well, I do warm up my voice. You know, I don't just go up there and start singing. And I've been doing that for about 30 years now. And that really helps. And I get sleep, drink a lot of water, and try to stay away from like dairy and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But
I've heard that.
But other than that, you know, it's just, you know, knock on wood, you know, good fortune. And the fact that I think when we first started off, I wasn't like the lead singer of the band. We were all sharing the vocal responsibility. So I kind of developed a technique where I wouldn't have to push my voice so much and combine my high, you know, falsetto voice with the lower voice and make the transition sound natural. So it's helped, you know.
So speaking of all the multi-vocals and you guys playing multi-instruments, I particularly love your sound because I'm a power trio kind of girl, and I know Roger's gonna roll his eyes at me behind the camera. My favorite band in the world is Rush.
Awesome.
And so that's, I think, why I've always been drawn to you guys' music as well, because there's something, first of all, it's rare to be a power trio. But it's hard to pull off, and you guys have really created a devoted fan base. And, you know, like them, you're going on 40 years, you still have all these people coming out to meet you, and you have sort of that grassroots feel as a band. Was that, when you guys set out and started playing, was there ever a time where you thought, you know what, we should just add a fourth or fifth guy? Did you feel any pressure from the record labels to do that? Or did you stick to your guns and say, you know, we're going to do this as three guys?
We actually, it was before we became a three-piece that we were trying to do more people in the band.
Yeah, because I remember at one point you had a fourth player.
We had a keyboard player named Tim Thorson, and the band wasn't called Zebra at that point. We called ourselves Maelstrom, a really easy name to remember. And we did we were doing pretty much all covers at that point, but it was like progressive, like Yes.
Yeah,
and
which is all the stuff I love,
Yeah. And then when we started to go out and get gigs, the first gigs we were getting were like dances. I had some friends from high school, can we hire you for the dance? Do you do any dance music? So we were learning some stuff they could dance to back in the mid-'70s. It would be like David Bowie or you know, the Rolling Stones and stuff like that. Well, Tim, the keyboard player, was having none of that. It was going to be Jethro Tull, but he wasn't playing any Bowie. And so he just decided, I'm out. This is what I signed up for. And so then we were left as a three-piece band. And then we said, well, maybe we should get a singer. And so we tried out all these different singers, or we went and, you know, asked people if they wanted to be our singers. Well, the ones we'd asked said, you know, I'm already doing okay. And the ones we tried out, none of them were, you know, we didn't want any of them. And so at a certain point, we kept practicing, and we were going to do another one of these, you know, dances that I was talking about. Some girl called me like in a panic because somebody had canceled on them at the last minute. And she said, can you guys do it? I said, you work pretty close. I said, yeah, I think so. So I called Felix and Guy up, I said, look, can you do the gig this weekend? It's on Friday. They said, yeah, okay, but what are we going to call ourselves? I said, well, let's figure that out. So we met at a bar, and we all came with like 50 names. Maelstrom was not going to be the name. That one was ditched. And we couldn't decide on a name, and after about 6 pitchers of beer, there was a picture of a zebra right up on the wall next to where we were. And just looked up and said, as we were leaving, let's call it Zebra. And that's what it was.
That is crazy. And is that how you then stepped in and did all the vocals?
Well, we were all singing.
You all were singing.
Yeah. Now, we were doing some original stuff then, too. By that point, I had started writing some stuff, you know, and Felix had written stuff previously, you know, so he got me into the writing thing. But we used to play like a lot of Deep Purple, ZZ Top, Aerosmith, Rolling Stones, Beatles. And so each of us did, you know, our different bands.
Yeah.
You know, Felix would do the Aerosmith stuff. You know, everybody did a little bit of Zeppelin, but I ended up doing more and more of the Zeppelin because I had the higher voice. Guy had a powerful high voice, so he would do like Deep Purple. He would be doing the, you know, if I find you with another man, you know, and big. And but eventually the crowd just kind of gravitated more towards the Zeppelin. Zeppelin was so big at the time. This was like 1975. I remember when Physical Graffiti came out.
Oh,
that was we pretty much had to learn the whole record.
Yeah.
You know? And so I just sort of took on the lead singer role at that point.
Yeah.
And,
you do have a lot of Zeppelin quality to your voice. I mean, you can totally tell.
Well, I love Zeppelin. My favorite band's the Beatles, actually.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah, but I started off learning the guitar. I never figured to be a singer, you know.
It's so funny. I hear that from a lot of the artists we interview, that the singers didn't actually set out to be the singer, which is so interesting to me, because to move into that frontman position is such a transition to go from being in the back to being in the front. Yeah,
but I think maybe it would have been a little harder for me. You're talking about my voice and keeping it up. If all you were doing was singing, but like if I had a night where my voice wasn't so great, or maybe I wasn't like, I could always just, okay, the solo's coming up.
Right.
You know, I could be vindicated. I could be vindicated now, you know.
I don't think you're having too much trouble with any of it. But so tell me about, after 40 years of playing all the music, you guys had some big commercial hits. You did have the hits on MTV that, it's funny though, my favorite album was your third album. I just thought there was some incredible music on that album that, to me, you guys seem to really root down into your own sound in that album. That's just my opinion. I'm not an expert, but now when you play all these songs, and it's been 40 years, do you still have those moments on stage where that magic happens? Like, how do you continue to find those moments as opposed to just going through the motions on the songs that you're used to playing?
Well, I think, you know, the crowd has a lot to do with it. You know, just the fact that people are still coming out after all this time.
Yeah.
The music has lasted, and you know, I think when we're all in sync, it's just nice. You know, I mean, we you know, I mean, I wrote a lot of songs, and a lot of songs were just discarded. So we picked the best of what we thought we had, and you know, we still love the music, and we still love playing. You know,
yeah.
And the fact that it's 3-piece, that's our gimmick. You know,
yeah.
And you know, and we're friends. You know, that's the main thing.
You can tell.
You know?
Do you ever bring it out, any of the stuff that you discarded previously? Do you ever bring it back and say, hey, why don't we just try and throw this in the set?
Well, we've done it. We have a song called Direction that we never put on a record. It's not on anything. But fans from way back before we even had a record deal would ask for that song.
Oh, funny.
So we put that back in the set a couple of years ago for a certain time period. But it is high.
Yeah.
It's way up there.
Is there any of your stuff that isn't high?
Well, this one's like extremely high, and you know, we may put it on a record. We may do a studio version. It's a great song. You know, but
are you
we
working?
do bring it back.
Are you working on a new record?
I'm always writing stuff. You know?
Yeah.
But between everything else that we all do, the Zebra stuff, because we've never stopped playing, but we're just not touring. You know,
yeah.
This is like an anomaly here, coming out to the West, you know, and doing 4 shows in a row. It's usually like maybe 1 or 2 shows on the weekend or something somewhere. But I'm writing, and we want to put something else out. you know.
Well, you have such loyal fans. Like I was saying, it's one of the things I've noticed that I hear a lot about Zebra. And I was actually kind of surprised by how many people that watch our interviews were texting me, "Oh my God, I love that band. Will you get some pictures? Will you post stuff? I wish I could be there." You guys have that real dedicated fan base, even though the critics, I feel, sort of overlooked you back in the day and didn't give you the same exposure maybe that some other acts got. When you guys were playing the biggest stages with the biggest bands, do you, your fans still want to see you?
Yeah.
So how do you navigate that, knowing that you are all involved in so many other things and you don't tour as much?
Well, we've really taken advantage of the internet, the Facebook and the stuff like that, and I think that's a great way to reconnect with people. You know? And another thing is that when we first started, everybody was very young, and then then you get married, you have kids, and then those people kind of disappear because they're busy.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're coming back
with their kids.
They're coming back with their kids, and now they're back out retiring, and so we're seeing a whole resurgence of people that have survived midlife and coming back to hang out in their retirement with Zebra. But the great part is that they're still loving the music.
They really are,
and it gives us all the more reason to want to make more of it.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you so much for talking to us. The music's going on. You guys are going to get on stage in a few minutes, and there's going to be a lot of people here excited to see you guys. And they're doing a Led Zeppelin set. You got to get out and see them live. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks, Kathy.
Well, guys, as you can see, Randy is just a sweetheart of a guy. Very soft-spoken in person, very casual and laid back, really easy to talk to and fun with the fans. But man, when he gets on stage, he is a beast. He's like a totally different personality, and the fans were eating it up. They gave a great performance, and their last 45 minutes was all Zeppelin tunes. If you get a chance, you really need to go see this band while they're on tour, because they don't do a lot of dates, and they all three members have a lot of other projects going on, so you can't always find time to go see them because they're not in every city. By the way, Randy also does some solo shows, and he does a really cool rock show where he goes to different cities and plays a whole set with a philharmonic orchestra or a symphony in that city. It's just a really great show, and I've heard rave reviews about it. I myself am going to catch the next one when he's here in Phoenix coming up next month. So if you get a chance, check out their music. These guys are definitely worth giving another look. Highly underrated band, and we had a lot of fun, and so did all the other fans. We'll catch you guys at the next show.